So thanks to everybody. It's really wonderful to be here with you. La Montanita Co-op started in 1976 with 300 families. And so today we have 17,300 families that own our co-op, consumer-owned co-op. And it's so cool to come after Luis and Dan because they already gave you the whole co-op wrap, so I don't have to do that. It's great. We're riding this crest of the wave right now. It used to be we were lunatic fringe hippies who were into this, you know, natural food stuff, and now suddenly we're like groovy in mainstream. It's sort of very wild. And so this was our original logo. Over time, we realized that we had to update a little to get a little bit more modern. So this is our sort of new logo, and you can see it getting used. We do a lot of marketing. These are Heidi's raspberries, Heidi and Doug Corpolongo, who have a raspberry farm and make jam in Corrales. And we do a lot of marketing for folks and cross-marketing. About almost 10 years ago now, which is hard for me to believe, we realized with Whole Foods a mile away from our stores and Trader Joe's and Sunflower and all the corporate chains that were coming to the fore that we had to figure out a way to stay viable. And we thought, well, what do we do well? Here's our ends policies, by the way. What do we do well that we can build on? And we read that book by Jim Collins, Good to Great, which I highly recommend, and it asks you to look at what you do well and then take that to the next level. And so we realized that we had been developing a reputation as the farmer's friend for the past 25 years because they could come into our back door even when we had a little 800 square foot store at the eastern edge of the university, sell their product. We used to go to, there was only one farmer's market back then, 25 years ago, in New Mexico, in Albuquerque at the Country Western Bar. So we would go out dancing on Friday night and sleep in our cars and then talk to all the farmers the next morning and buy stuff and talk them into coming to the co-op. And you know, so over the years that we paid the farmers right away for their product, no net 30, they got it. They came in the back door, they went to the register with a slip from the produce department, and they went home with jingle in their pocket, which all of you who are producers know that sometimes, you know, it's pretty hand to mouth. You need that money, you need it now. So given that, we realized that, well, what we'll do is we'll focus on the local food system. And this was before it sort of was the big thing, and so we wrote a 5-year, 10-year, and 20-year plan and gave it to our board of directors. We were asking for $150,000 of co-op money, member-owned co-op money, to invest in this, what we called our food shed, which is now quite a popular term. But back then, everybody said, a food shed? What is a food shed? And, you know, we had to go through the whole thing. Oh, it's based on our watershed, and our water comes from the San Juan Valley in southern Colorado, down the Rio Grande Valley Rift. It irrigates all our farms. It's, you know, watershed, food shed, sort of makes sense. So now it's sort of a popular concept, and we're really glad about that. You all know this is the International Year of the Co-op, yes? Declared by the UN. So we're doing a lot of community education based on that and the growth of that. So here's some of our, again, some of the information that we put out in the community to make it more than just a grocery store, but to sort of give it an excitement and to tie our traditional, you know, we started in 1976, peace and love, to what's really happening today, and a lot of young people are really into it. So this food shed initiative really started about 8 years ago. It took us almost 2 years to get the board to approve the spending of that money. That was a lot of money to us. We're really a drop in the bucket in terms of the food system, even in New Mexico. We do about 30 million in sales. 20% of everything that we purchase and sell is locally produced. We carry 1,100 products all year round. In the summer, it's more because there's more produce available. But we have a lot of farmers now who are doing four-season food. So it's pretty even over the course of the year. And here in southern Arizona, I'm sure you can probably grow almost the whole year, although the summer might be a little hot. Hopefully you have shade cloth and you can do that. So our food shed, a 300-mile radius around Albuquerque, and we positioned our you can sort of see how we grow out. We got a warehouse at the intersection of I-25 and I-40, the north, south, east, west highways, and we started with a little. These are all the logos that we use. We started with a little 8,000 square foot warehouse, and just in December, because the Food Shed Initiative has been growing, we just moved to an 18,000 square foot warehouse. When we first got our first warehouse, we were really freaked out. Oh my gosh, how are we going to fill this and how are we going to pay for it? And now here we are with 18,000 square feet, and we're thinking the same thing. But we work with 900 local producers around the state, and we really talk about how we're in the import replacement business. We want to replace all the products that come from out of our state with products that are grown and produced, value added, and produce, fruit and veggie, meat, cheese, bread, wheat, grain, from our local producers, and support them to diversify. So this is sort of what some of the community education that we put out. This is our newest brochure, actually. When we moved to the new warehouse, we are starting a whole program to really market more aggressively throughout the state to a variety of organizations and institutions, and really help our local producers brand their products. You can see the Kaiser Farm is a new pork co-op from the South Valley of Albuquerque, which is a traditionally Hispanic section of the city of Albuquerque, and we're working with some of those pork producers to produce this pork. Here's again, so you can see some of the information that we're putting out. Sorry, it's kind of small, but sort of visually pretty engaging. We take all these pages, they're a beautiful little brochure. I wanted to bring them, but they didn't come back from the printer in time. And our salespeople, who are sort of going out into the community to promote the local products for our local producers, take these brochures and bring those and leave them with people so that people can really see and get a sense. It's that fifth cooperative principle that Dan and Luis talked about: education, information, and training. It is our job, our co-op's job, to educate the larger community about the importance of local food, sustainably produced food, and the sort of co-op model that we represent, the co-op business model that we represent. So this is, again, some of our educational information, sales tools that we use. What also our commitment is to building community and to reestablish the relationships between people and their food, between farmers and consumers, and our relationship with producers. The industrial model has taken that away from communities, and we really feel our job as a cooperative is to bring that back into the marketplace. It brings transparency, it brings integrity, and really we believe that's what co-ops are to do. And so these are some of the faces of some of our producers. This is Scott Rasband. He's one of my favorite success stories. When RBGH hit the market, we went to Scott. He said, "I'm never going to use that stuff." And we started distributing his milk. Well, first he just sold it to our co-ops, and he would truck it up. And when we got the Food Shed Initiative going, we have 2 trucks that run 6 days a week in that 300-mile radius, picking up food from farmers, distributing it throughout the 300-mile radius. Like Dan said, we try to never have an empty truck, so we might be bringing milk up to Taos, and in Taos be picking up corn and chicos and pintos and bringing them back down, or just keeping that circle going. And so when we started doing this, we so expanded, and this used to be his only outlet, was his little farm store right on his dairy. We so expanded his sales that Jeannie, his wife, could quit her off-farm job. And as so many of you know, most farmers survive because they have off-farm jobs. And so if we can create these, this is his primary, his farm store is his primary source of income. If we can create secondary, which is wholesale to us, and tertiary forms or income streams for the farmers. That's really one of the goals of our food shed project, is to create multiple income streams for producers so that they're not just reliant on one set of income streams. So our wholesale income stream is his secondary income stream, and I'll talk in a minute about the tertiary income streams that we're trying to develop. Here's us. We go to his farm twice or 3 times a week, I think now, 3 times a week to pick up milk. This is the East Mountain Organic guys. This picture always gets a laugh, isn't it? I just love the multicultural nature of it, right? Everything from Rastaman to traditional Hispanic, northern New Mexico Hispanic farming. The land for East Mountain Organics has been in Tomas. He's on your far right since 1735. And it wasn't farmed. It fell out of use being farmed in '49, and Fred and Tomas decided to bring it back, and so they did. And what these folks do is they're a mixed vegetable concern, and they are certified organic. They call our produce managers every Monday because our California order has to go in on Tuesday to Veritable Vegetable. And so they tell us what they're picking that week so that we don't order it from California. And in season, about 90 to 95% of everything we purchase is locally grown in season for vegetables. So that worked really well, and we worked with Tomas. One of the things that we really are looking forward to doing more with Tomas and East Mountain Organics is they've just started a chicken production pilot project to see if they can do that, because all the chicken that is sold and eaten in New Mexico, except if you have your own hens in your yard, right, it comes from California. And that's a huge amount of money that we really want to be in our state. So Tomas is we're working with Tomas and helping fund that to begin that chicken project with East Mountain Organics. This is another one of my favorite stories. This is Soaring Eagle Ranch. They're in northern New Mexico. This is Sage and Shane. He went from being a rodeo star, a bull rider, to cow farmer. We worked with 7 ranchers in northern New Mexico, Sage and Shane among them, who just won the New Mexico Organic Farmer of the Year award this year, and helped form Sweetgrass Beef Co-op. We started off buying, it's grass-fed, grass-finished. They are not certified organic, but they have a series of principles that they adhere to. And we worked with them to help form their structure as a cooperative. We promised them that we would buy 2 beeves a week. And we buy 2 beeves a week, and that serves all our co-op. Now with our expanded warehouse, we're going to be buying 4 to 5 beeves a week, and we are... over the past 3 years have built them up to that. They've built their herds up to that, and we're supplying a variety of restaurants, organizations, health, nursing homes, a whole bunch of different kinds of places, again, to up their income. And so we have promised them to buy 4 and some weeks 5 beeves every single week, and that gives them a base of income that really allows them to build their farm and their businesses. So people have to sign on, as Dan noted, people have to really sign on to a series of production principles, and they call themselves actually not ranchers, but they call themselves grass farmers, because they, bless you, bless you, bless you, because they believe that that comes first, and then they can really produce the beef in a really positive way. So it's really exciting to see they came to a lot of festivals that we do, our Earth Day festivals, our garden festivals, all sorts of that, and they sampled out a ton of beef in the early days, and people were blown away at how much better it was from any other beef that they had ever tasted, really. And so that grass-fed, grass-finished, educating about that, the importance of that was really key out in the community. And one thing I will say is we pay a premium price to all our farmers and ranchers. We do not go by the California price list because it is so much easier to produce food in California, as you know, than it is in the high desert. Here, well, we're high desert. You're not even high desert. You're what? Low desert here. So, you know, with their 20, 25 inches of rain, we're lucky in New Mexico if we get 7 inches. I don't know what you get here, but about the same, right? Probably. So, you know, we do not use the California price list. We negotiate with all of our producers based on what they feel the true cost of production is. We do education around their product and putting a name with their product, as you saw with Tomas. That was a poster that was in our newsletter. That was a poster hanging over the vegetable department for a while at all our stores. So people put a face. They knew East Mountain. They started looking for East Mountain. And we don't pay just the standard price, conventional price to our farmers. We want our stuff to go 5 minutes, 2 minutes, oh gosh, well, I can't tell this story. Okay, so this is Old Windmill Dairy. This is another thing that we do, the value chain. You all know about the value chain? Yes, the value chain? So we bought 200,000 pounds of winter wheat from northern New Mexico farmers. We work with Jose Cordova to reestablish his mill in Valencia County. We mill his flour, and then we bake it into bread with local bread bakers. This is the tertiary income stream that I was talking about, which is so important in developing a food shed, in that we had a bad hailstorm, and the farmers were going to lose their pomegranates and apples all fed to the hogs, and we said, we'll buy them all, and we worked with a juice packer and produced that juice. Here's Robert Kaiser. This is the beginning of our pork co-op, South Valley Pork Farmers. He buys pigs from his local small family farmers, and it all goes into this pork project. Here are our markets, all of them, 5 of them. Yes, I'm going really fast. Sorry, I only have 2 minutes. I'm foaming at the mouth. So I really wanted to get to this because you all just heard about Slow Money. We co-sponsored with Slow Money the first Slow Money conference, I think, well, definitely, maybe even in the nation, I don't really know. Because one of the things we realized is if we were going to scale up the food shed and the local food system, farmers have problems getting capital. So we went to our members. We wrote a plan. We got it approved by the New Mexico Securities Division, so we are officially a securities. And we went to our members and asked them to invest $250 to buy an interest, that they were interested in building the local food system and investing in the local food system. So in the first year, we raised $97,000. That was last year. We made loans of almost $34,500 in non-collateralized loans to local producers to help them scale up. Seed money, high tunnel, greenhouse money, truck money when their trucks broke down. We could make those. Our investors who were members of the co-op gave us that money. They don't have to put their farms up for collateral. This is our second year. After the first year, we paid 2.1% back to our investors, which for the first year was pretty amazing. We're shooting for 5% in the next 5 years. So it's patient capital, but we're also looking to give a good return. Eventually, we can see increasing the aggregate amount. We just increased it this year to $150,000. We have $109,000 that is available to lend out in the community, minus the $39,000 that we now have out. We have a series of more loans in the pipeline now. This has gone really well because La Montanita is really committed to building the local food system in a variety of ways. We're willing to lose $25,000 first before any of our local community members who gave us their $250. And I don't know about you all, but for me, $250 is a lot of money. You know, it's not going to put me out on the streets, but you know, it's food money. It's it's all the money that I need to survive. So the co-op is willing to lose that first before, if any of our farmers default. We have not, in the first year we had 3 loans paid off. Nobody was even ever delinquent. And so even though banks think that you farmers are not a good risk, we think you are a good risk, and we're willing to not bet the farm, but we're willing to take a chance on you. Although the Securities Division demanded that we tell all our investors that it was extremely high risk. Here are our fair lending standards in our loan fund. Here is our loan criteria. You do not have to meet all the loan criteria to get a loan from La Montanita, the last of the loan criteria. This is Old Windmill Dairy. I sort of skipped over them earlier. They were part of our prepayment program. We gave them $5,000 to build cheese agent caves because there were no cheese agent caves in New Mexico. And every spring there was a glut on the market of fresh chev, goat cheese. And so they were losing a ton of money. They were having to take less than it cost them to produce their chev. And we said, let's age some cheese so that they have a 4-season income. Their truck broke down because their dairy grew so much, and we helped them buy a truck through the loan fund just recently. So that's Ed and Mike Lobau. This is the latest project. It's an urban farm. We are training Iraqi and Afghanistani returning veterans as farmers. We have a little urban farm place that was donated to us by the Downtown Action Team, Downtown Albuquerque Action Team, to build a farm down in the middle of the city with all the veterans as they learn. They will then, if they go through the whole program, they will then be available, be able to access the loan fund to get loans to get started. So what we're really trying to do is make this full circle of Food Shed from start to finish, linking investors who put money into your businesses. All the investors know who we're invested in. It's all in our newsletter. And I brought newsletters, and so pick them up, and I'm over my 2 minutes. Sorry. I tried to get it all in there, but I didn't.